Hi, good morning. Good morning, guys. It's Friday. My favorite time of the week, it's Friday. So after this video, I'm going to be studying, reading, preparing my sermon for tonight. And so I wanted to pop on and just give you some, revelatory information from the Lord and just encourage you a little bit and just say, hey. And I can't wait to see everybody tonight in the park for our Friday night service, and everybody that will join us online. We get there around 5:30 to set up and stuff, and I'll pray. I believe tonight I'm gonna kind of like pray and let people show up till about 6:30ish, and 6:30 I'll get started with the sermon. So if we don't go directly online at 6 o'clock Eastern, I'm just allowing people to kind of show up, get ready. We had to take the time all the way back because of the sunlight. Now, starting November the 1st, we are really just using what we have. And we have a awning, and we're going to have some heaters. We're going to have lighting. So I won't always have to keep it at 6 or 6:30. I can keep it at the original time of 7 because we're going to have lighting. As we head into winter, as we head into the time change, here in North Georgia, it'll get dark at 5:30 at the darkest point of our season. In the summertime, it doesn't get dark until 8:39. So we're dealing with a whole kind of different ball game in the wintertime. But the Lord is giving us revelation and ideas about how to pioneer this new place. And we are going to have lighting. We have a beautiful, sweet family. I love you guys. Oh, yes, family. I was not able to get your number at the park on Friday night, and I just said, Facebook message me. But unfortunately, when you Facebook message me, guys, it goes into a junk folder, and I most of the time never get messages. So if you could put it in the comments so I can reach out to you and get your number. The sweet family is going to provide us heaters, really nice heaters to use so that nobody is cold, that we can just set up and have everybody nice and comfortable in there. And I'm going to get some lights with the generator, so we'll have lights. So guys, if that's you, if you're the family, I'm so sorry. I need your number. Or I'll see you tonight maybe at the park so we can hook up and start doing that. Before I get into some revelation I want to talk to you about, I want to say thank you guys for anybody, and you know who you are, the small few of you that have given into this ministry, and some of you are also tithing. There's a couple of you that are tithing into this ministry, and I'm so humbled, because let me tell you this kind of goes into what the Lord does. When the Lord wants to move, the Lord uses dreamers to do it. When he wants to start a movement and he wants to move, he uses dreamers to do it. And dreamers are ones that see, they have vision, and they don't have everything figured out, and they don't really have a huge blueprint planned out. They just see what the Lord has given them and they start moving. And I remember a long time ago, Jensen Franklin taught me, he was my pastor for, 8 years. I remember him always saying, you work with excellence and you use what you have, even when you have nothing, and you allow the Lord to bring in what is needed for the vision. Right now at the park, constantly, since I've been there since March preaching, I've had to pioneer as a dreamer, and any pioneers out there will understand this. Every single week, there's a new problem that has to be solved, especially when you have no building, when you have an assignment and you just said yes to it and you don't really have a lot of information. When you don't have a building, you don't have power, you don't have lights, you don't have resources. You're a brand new ministry, so nobody's giving into the ministry. And you really wait on the Lord to start telling you the next things to do. And this is for any of you, whether you have a ministry or whether you have an assignment or a dream from the Lord. You have really no resources. And sometimes the dreamers get stuck in that and go, well, I don't have this, I don't have that, I haven't been asked to go anywhere. I haven't been asked to do such thing. And so they don't end up doing things. But the Lord can't use you not doing nothing. There's nothing for him to use when you choose not to do anything. When you choose to accept an assignment and you choose to fulfill the vision that the Lord put on your spirit to do, nobody else can do it but you. That's why he gave it to you. When you choose not to do that, then the move or the movement that the Lord doesn't want to do, he'll end up getting it done, but he could pass it to somebody else to do when really it was your assignment the entire time. And then furthermore, if you don't do the things that the Lord's asking you to do or that he's put in you, the dream in you to do, it doesn't go away. It just gets louder and louder and louder until you finally just go, okay, fine, I'll do it. But even when you say yes to doing those things, you still have no issues figured out. You don't have it. That a dreamer has to pioneer, a visionary has to pioneer. When the Lord starts using somebody mightily, right? First of all, it takes a yes. And then after that, it takes just showing up and going, okay, Lord, this is the issue. How are we going to solve it? Right? My issue from day one at the park, and this is just me being honest with you. And so you can see how a pioneer has to figure these things out. I'm trying to encourage you. When you have no resources and you have no blueprint, because you've never really seen anybody go before you doing what the Lord's asking you to do, you literally show up and you go, okay, Lord, now what do I do? Right? It's raining outside today. What do I do? The picture of this new awning at the park popped into my mind. I'm like, oh, okay, so we can just go underneath that when it rains. Well, now that it's wintertime, it seems like that awning that I was in last week is going to be our spot instead of a building that I've been asking the Lord for. Lord, what do we do in the wintertime? What do we do? It's cold. I have no lighting. I have no darkness. I have no light. It's pitch dark. The Lord gave me a vision about how to turn that awning into a small little enclosed area where we can put heaters in and the heat stays in, where I can get lights. And now I've had a couple people reach out to me. We're going to start doing music. We're not going to start it this week. We're going to start it next week. Just very simple guitar, very sweet worship ambiance. And the Lord moves in those kind of places. And I remember Jensen teaching me a long time ago, years ago. There's still wells of wisdom that Jensen, my pastor before Pastor Todd and Karen Smith became my spiritual parents. The Lord really just uses different influential people in your lives to get you to the assignments and to the areas that he wants you to be. You just have to learn how to submit in those seasons under such people that the Lord puts in your life. But I remember Jensen one time saying, you start with what you have and you do it with absolute excellence and you continue to prophesy what the Lord has shown you. Well, the Lord has shown me years ago, I had this snap vision of me out in a grassy green area. And in the snap vision, I was actually on like a crate box. I say soap box because that's like the old school way, but it was literally a crate, like, a crate that you would put like things in at the grocery store. I was standing on this crate and I was preaching to people that were in front of me. Now, back in 2013, 14 timeframe, when the Lord mantled me to be a preacher and I had no idea why I was preaching instead of like talking to people. You guys heard my testimony. I would just begin preaching and I didn't even know why I was doing it. I had that snap vision and it terrified me. Guys, it terrified me and I was just hoping that I had made it up in my mind. I was like, I totally just made that up. Like that, I don't even know why I thought that, why I visually saw that. Lord, that was so crazy. I am perfectly happy sitting and being fed the word of God. Like, I'm okay with that. Like, I'll preach to my husband. I'll preach to my kids. And then as it got closer to the time of me having to actually fulfill what the Lord put in me to do, I started getting very nervous. I started getting very worried. I started getting, oh my gosh, I believe this vision was for me. I believe he's really about to call and pull my card. Oh my gosh, I'm not ready. Oh my goodness. And the thing is that you are ready. You are ready. I had that vision almost 10 years ago, but during the process of the Lord developing me. I was under Jensen. Jensen cleaned the fish. Oh, I needed so much cleaning. Sean and I needed so much cleaning. I literally came on fire out of the world. And Jensen just cleaned with his messages and cleaned for years up until COVID hit. When COVID hit, the Lord guided me underneath the spiritual parenting of Pastor Karen and Pastor Todd Smith, where they have truly dug and trained and grown me and wisdom that was already in me. It just needed to be sharpened, right? The longer I sit underneath the teaching, the longer I sit underneath the glory of the Shekinah glory that the Lord has me in that church, the sharper I get. And I just sit there and they sharpen me and they sharpen me and they sharpen me. Most of you notice if you're in Kineo, I'm not a note taker. I don't even really open the book. I don't know, because for me in my mind, I'm a visual learner and it imprints on me. So when someone's speaking and someone's teaching, if I begin to start writing notes and start opening books, I won't hear what's being taught at me. So I sit and I almost don't even blink. I'll watch and I'll listen and I'll let the Lord speak to me through the vessel that he's using at that moment in time. And I've been in that for 4 years. And the Lord is just sharpening. I never miss a sermon. I never miss a conference. I never miss a teaching. And when I'm not there in the teachings, I'm at home being taught all day. And so the Lord, when he pulled my card finally, and he was like, now it's time that you need to do what you saw. I could have easily said, Lord, no. I could have easily said to the Lord, I don't have this, and I don't have that, and I don't have this much money, and I don't have this, and I don't have that. And then I could have just gone on a list. And there was a period about 2 or 3 months, I was actually kind of doing that, kind of flailing and flopping like a fish, telling the Lord all kind of reasons why he was choosing someone that wasn't quite ready. But I was ready. I just didn't have all the details figured out. For 10 years, I'd been on these platforms preaching and teaching to whoever would hear me. For years, I had no problem embarrassing myself. Sometimes I would say things that were wrong. And I'd be like, wait a second, I missed that. And I totally publicly just said it and I missed it. I got to go back and I got to redo it and I got to, And the Lord says, you are ready. You just don't have the resources. And now why are you telling me? And the Lord was saying to me, and the Lord would say to you, stop telling him who you're not. Stop it. You are who he says you are. So when you step out and you start doing the things, all the little pieces come together. I don't have everything figured out about what I'm pioneering in the park. It's on a Friday night, right? It's like, Lord, why am I doing this on a Friday night? Because he said so. And then he told me why. Eventually. It wasn't immediately. He said, because the ones that I'm going to use, heal, I want to know really want to be in my presence. If they're coming out to hear my word on a Friday night, I'm going to bless them. If they're coming out and they're that hungry to hear my word in a park on a Friday night, they're going to see the miraculous. I'm like, yes, sir. I'll be out there. As far as, the tools that I need, I don't know. I still don't have it figured out, but I do know that the Lord has given me little bits here and there. I do know I do have a structure that I didn't pay for that I get to use at the park. The Lord's given me ideas how to enclose that structure to keep heat in. The Lord has brought a family in that has 6 big, tall heaters they said they used for an event that they no longer use anymore, that they're letting us use when it gets cold so that we can put in there. We still got to buy some of the lighting and the generators to be able to, light the place up once it gets dark. But the Lord is providing that. And the Lord is providing the people that want to sow in. And I'm so grateful for that. I'm so grateful for what the Lord is pioneering. And so listen, anytime the Lord wants to move and start a movement, he always uses a dreamer. And then the dreamer actually has to say yes. Because I promise you, dreamer, if you don't say yes to what the Lord's asking you to do because you don't have all the details figured out, right? Maybe you're a person that likes to plan everything, likes to have everything in order, and so therefore you don't move. I promise you, the assignment will go to somebody else, but you will never, ever stop thinking about it. You will never, it will, because it's in your DNA to do what the Lord has asked you to do. Going back to when the Lord pulled my card, Pastor Karen Smith actually called me out on it because I wasn't acting right. It consumed my every thought. It was, I wasn't sleeping very well. And she looked at me one day, class was about to start. We were in Kineo class and she was getting ready. She was preparing her notes and I was just sitting there. You guys know I'm a front row seater. I've got to be up front. First of all, in church, because I feel closer to the altar. Like I'm right there at that altar and I feel like I have to be at that altar every time I'm at church. Like I just, Lord, humble me more. But second of all, I love to be in the front, obviously, because I'm that close to the person speaking and I absorb everything. I don't write anything down, so it just sticks better. But I was sitting there and she looked at me and she goes, "Are you sleeping okay at night? Do you sleep well?" And in that moment, I looked at her and I was like, yeah, I'm sleeping. I'm fine. I'm good. I wasn't sleeping well. And I wasn't sleeping well, not because I was doing anything wrong. It was because the Lord had pulled my card of that vision that I saw years before of me in a grassy area, in a park, standing on a crate box, preaching to people. And the only reason why I was like, I can't do this is because I was going through all the things. I don't have this, I don't have that, I don't know what to do, I don't know where to go, what park, Lord, where? I don't have a microphone, I don't have a speaker, I don't. I was going through all of these things. And when she said that to me, I felt like it was the Lord saying, you being disobedient and not doing what I've asked you to do is literally, you are wearing it on the outside of you. It's noticeable. So why don't you go ahead and just do what I asked you to do? I'm not going to tell you the details until you start putting one foot in front of the other and watch me work. And I said, okay. I made up my mind. I haven't faltered on it. I've been consistent with it. I went and I talked to Pastor Karen and my spiritual parents, Pastor Todd, and told them what the Lord put on my heart and told them what I was about to do. And I was seeking their counsel on it. They said, by all means, we support you 100%. You go get that harvest. I am. So my heart for you is it's so important in these times that the Lord can trust you with the assignment that only you can fulfill. Like I said last week in my sermon last week, you are the only one that can fulfill what you're supposed to fulfill in your bloodline for these times. If somebody else could have done it in your family, it would have already been done. Or it could have been on them, but they chose to say no, and the Lord's looking at you going, are you going to do it? Because I'm just going to bypass your family and go to somebody else. You're never, ever going to have enough money to do what the Lord's asked you to do. You're always going to look to other people like you have an agenda when you do what the Lord's asking you to do. Always. You're always going to be misunderstood. You're always going to look like you're arrogant or you think too highly of yourself when you have confidence because you know that you heard the Lord and you know what your giftings are and you know what you can and cannot do. You're always going to be by other people. So you might as well just go ahead and just see the vision and the assignment through, regardless. And, when you hit those bumps in the road, like the bump in the road that I was hitting, like, oh my goodness, Lord, it's worrying about things that aren't here yet, right? So I was worried about winter and having shelter when it was 90 degrees outside and I was sweating. Why was I worried about it then? Because now we have it figured out. The Lord has already come to pass, that has brought people to come to pass to help figure that out. Why was I worried about that? It was already taken care of, and it's already taken care of now. I don't have to worry about that. So come in November, we're going to have, it sheltered in with tarp and everything like that. It's super easy. Command hooks, like super easy. Keeping heat in, and we have heaters, right? And the only thing left is lighting and a generator. So and music's coming, The Lord partnered me up with people that want to partner with my ministry and be a part of it and change people's lives in the park, and he's already brought that. See, all these things have been figured out. So I'm saying to you this morning, if the Lord has put in you a vision and he's pulled that card, right? Maybe he gave it to you years ago Maybe he gave it to you 5 years ago, 7 years ago, and you just thought that maybe it was just you, or maybe you imagined it. But then all of a sudden the Lord is confirming over and over and over again that no, that was from me. It wasn't the time, and now is the time. Now I need you to go to fulfill it. And you're sitting there going, well, I don't, Lord, but I don't have this and I don't have that. You're never going to have all the pieces. Never. You're never going to have everything you need for the Lord for you to do what the Lord's asked you to do. You will not. And it'll be like that until he returns, because he loves for us to rely on him to solve problems, because it glorifies him. See, when that park is full, and I've also seen a snap vision, I have seen that area that I'm preaching at full of people so hungry for the Lord that the Lord, I'm not touching anybody for healings. The Lord is just doing a mass whoosh, and people are healed, falling out, people running into the lake, they're self-emerging themselves. I've seen this in a vision. Self-emerging themselves because they want to be baptized and cleaned in his presence. I've seen this. And it has nothing to do with me. It just has to do with me as a vessel saying, yes, I'll be there. I'll be there to deliver your word. I'll be there to guide and counsel the people. I'll be there to usher them to the Lord. Heal and say whatever what you need me to say. When you keep it Lord focused and you keep the pressure off of you and you just go, I'm not worried about that. I'm not worried about how many people show up. I'm not worried about how much money comes in. I'm not worried about what we're going to do in the wintertime. I'm not worried about, anything. I'm just going to say, yes, I'll show up and do what the Lord's asked me to do because I've seen it. All the things get figured out, but he needs a dreamer, someone that dreams, he sees the vision and acts on the vision. Even when the vision isn't completely clear, you just have an assignment and a word. All he needs for you is not to find the other puzzle piece, right? It's so annoying when you feel like you have a puzzle that's completely full and you're missing 2 or 3 pieces. It's annoying, right? You search the whole house. Where do those pieces go? Don't worry about those pieces. The Lord has those pieces, and the Lord will give you those pieces at the right time. Dreamers, visionaries, if you have an assignment on your life and he's pulled that card and he says, now's the time, which I'm feeling as if now is the time for many of you, because it's the age, it's the season that we're in. Before his return, we're going to have many Elijah companies, many John the Baptist companies, out in the wilderness, bringing people out from the world into the wilderness so they can repent and so that they can be discipled, so they can be showed where to go. Now is that time. So I want to bless you with go. Stop having things all figured out. Stop asking for an invitation somewhere to preach. Stop it. It's not ever going to come. Maybe it will. But if the Lord's given you a specific assignment, why would he give somebody else the knowing of what your specific assignment is? That's your assignment. Why expect somebody else to see that value in you? No, the Lord sees that value in you. He put that gift in you. You go, and the Lord will open up the appropriate doors that you need to be at or walk through. Get ministry off of your mind. It has nothing to do with ministry. Most people don't have to be full ministries full time. Most people don't even want it. I never wanted it. The only reason why I didn't want, when the Lord pulled my card, why I was struggling, why I didn't want it, I didn't want it. You know why? Because I saw the stress under my pastors. I saw the stress on Jensen. I saw the hate. I saw everything that these people walk through. I saw betrayal. I saw pastors and ministers give everything they have to people and people just leave them. I saw it. I was like, there's no way that I ever want to take that on. I saw the constant hours in prayer and on their knees. I saw the constant studying and grooming this word these people had to go under just to deliver it to people they're trying to feed, for those people just to go back into the world that they came out of as if they never heard the word from the pastor. I saw all of this and I was like, I don't want it. So most of you don't even have to deal with full-time ministry. It's not your calling. You're not a part of the fivefold, and you're probably thankful for it. But at the same time, the Lord has put something on you to build something, and you need to build it. Yeah, you don't have money, but he'll bring it. Do you need to build a new software? Do you need to build a new company? Do you need to build a new structure of something? You are called to do something. Are you called to build a homeschool sect? What is it? And do it. Do it. Because you move, he moves. You move, he moves. Yeah? All right, I bless you. And let me pray for all of you for courage and for clarity. So Lord, I pray for every single one that's on this live or that's watching the replay, that you would give them the courage and the fire and the vision, and reignite that vision that you have given them, and show them that this is why they're here. This is the time, and that they can trust you. That when you've given them a vision, a dream, an assignment, that you're going to fill in those puzzle pieces, Father. Give them dreams and visions. Give them new inventions and ideas of how to accomplish these things. Father, I pray for spiritual parents in their life, that the Lord, that you, Lord, will show them who their spiritual parents are. You will give them night visions and dreams so that they can submit underneath the house of who you're wanting them to be trained up under. Thank you, Lord, for this wisdom and this guidance for those on this live and watching the replay. I bless all of you. And I will see you again, either at the park, come out if you guys are coming out, and or on live. So it'll live stream around 6:15, 6:30 on YouTube and Facebook. All right, guys, y'all have a good day, and I will see y'all soon. Bye.